Today we're going over a super interesting article titled 7 Lessons on Frugality from the Mormons. So as the article says, their faith has a lot of influence on how they also spend their money. If you're new around here, welcome. I'm Lena. On this channel, we talk all things money, debt, investing, savings, the whole 9 yards. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Number 1 is pay an honest tithing. It says in the article, quote, "In the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, every person is asked to pay 10% in tithing." Now, I know this is controversial for some people, but I do believe that if this is part of your value system, it definitely teaches you how to live off less just from the get-go. If you've learned how to already live off 90% of your paycheck, you have learned some valuable financial lessons. And I also think this kind of giving can kind of jar you out of that scarcity mindset, like there's never going to be enough, but then you figure out a way. 2, live on less than you earn. This is definitely easier said than done. And if you aren't carefully tracking your money, you don't actually know if you're doing this or not. Overspending will always catch up with you, and it will be a big bummer if that is the habit that you've gotten into. Avoid debt. I am mostly about this one, of course, when we're talking consumer debt like car loans and credit cards and stuff like that. This is all about not spending more than you actually have. So if we're carefully tracking our money, then we know that we're not spending more than we have. And even if we're using a credit card, we know that we can pay that off at the end of each month. 4, distinguish between needs and wants. They put needs as something you need in order to survive. Now, I think this line gets a little bit blurry because yes, you do need food to survive, but there's a lot of variations in that. And there's a lot of difference between spending $3,000 a month on food and spending $1,000 a month on food. This is not as cut and dry as they would like to put it. And that's what makes this so tricky, is because you kind of have to set the needs and wants for yourself and kind of have a sit down session about whether or not Domino's pizza falls in the need or the want category. 5, develop and live within a budget. Latter-day Saints believe that they will be held accountable for how they've used the things that they have been given. So the budget is even more important to them than your average person. I think this is also a way for your money to follow your values. Even if part of your values are about traveling or taking good care of your kids and making sure they have the best education, if we are careful budgeters, then we figured out how to afford those things that were valuable to us, and we can see that that's what happened with our budget. And that can bring a lot of satisfaction whether or not you're feeling accountable for those things. 6, build a reserve. This talks about 2 main ways that Latter-day Saints think about reserves, and one is a food reserve and the other is a financial reserve. And this is all about being prepared for what unexpected things could happen, like a job loss, or someone getting really sick and not being able to work and you are depending on that income. The more prepared we can be, the less anxious we can be about what's coming next and how things will pan out. So that 6-month emergency fund, that puts a cushion between you and whatever might happen. And that really helps me sleep at night. I know that if things started going sideways, we would be okay. We have time to figure it out. 7, be honest in all your financial affairs. Now, you might not think of this as something that is frugal in particular, but I can tell you that if you've done everything honestly and you've been upfront about everything, the likelihood of fines and unexpected overtaxes and fees and all that stuff, that goes away, because you can prove that you are being honest in your dealings, and that can save you money in the long run. What do you think is the most important thing about how you manage money that helps you save?